Thank you very much, viewers, for joining us. Today, we shall still be animating the subject matter that has gained much prominence in most of the headlines, assessing the performance of the president during the first 100 days. Now, in law, we have a principle we know as the principle of natural justice, which talks about fairness. So if we are to replicate, or perhaps borrow the idea of this particular principle, I think it is fair enough for us to have a different perspective to the subject matter. It is fair enough for us to have an MPP faithful to share his thoughts on this subject matter. Today, we are privileged to have in the studio a gentleman I respect a lot, a gentleman who has contributed a lot to the academic discourse as far as economics department is concerned, a guy with facts and figures. He goes by the name Wissi Wisdom. Wissi, welcome.
Thank you very much.
How is your day?
Oh, well, generally my day has been good.
I believe you went to church today.
Oh, no, today I couldn't go.
You couldn't go. You know, we are in a very sad mood because of the demise of our beloved Dennis Akutu. May he so rest in perfect peace. But life still goes on. Now, we are animating, or we are talking about the subject matter, assessing the performance of the president, of looking at the first 100 days. Now, last week I interviewed Lincoln, and most of my questions are going to be based on the responses given to us by Lincoln. Members of the MPP party, of which you are a part, maintains this position that Nana Akufo Addo and his government has maintained some level of consistency and have displayed intent in fulfilling their campaign promises. Do you think so far so good, looking at the first 100 days?
Oh, yes. And every Ghanaian bears witness with this.
Okay.
That the performance within the first 100 days of the Akufo Addo-led government has been massive.
Okay.
It's been positive, and so it gives us a positive outlook. And of course, the international community have also said the same thing, and they congratulated him. And so I believe that the first 100 days of the MPP government has been good, even though it's not been easy, because looking at the depth of problems created by the previous government, it requires...
So I'll come back to the substantive, don't worry. Now, last week I interviewed Lincoln, and he talked about I'm sure you've acquainted yourself with the realities on the ground.
Oh, of course.
The inflation rate has been slashed down, and we've been able to restore some sort of credibility in our domestic currency, the cedi.
Yeah.
It has appreciated.
Yeah.
And Lincoln attributed all these positive indicators or all these positive signs to the fact that his previous government put in place some corrective measures, and implementation takes about 7 months or 6 months before its full realization can be felt. Now, do you think these positive indicators we're experiencing is as a result of the corrective measures or the pragmatic measures put in place by the previous government?
That's not true. Mm-hmm. That's not true, because we had a president who promised to fix Dumso, never fixed it. Mm-hmm. He worsened it. So how do you tell me that it was because of corrective measures put up by the previous government?
So are you trying to say that we inherited Dumso from the NDC government?
Of course. Really? Are you asking that?
Okay, it's because I'm on campus, I'm not experiencing.
They failed to resolve the problem.
Okay.
Then the government took over. And of course, you've seen that within the first 100 days, Dumso has not been so regular as it used to be. This is not propaganda. I mean, this is something that is factual. It can be seen. And I don't know why he's saying that. Look, the economic management team led by His Excellency the Vice President, is a team of competent economists, people who believed in bringing up stringent economic measures, to put Ghana on a path towards, strengthening our economy. So I don't see why he says that. Within the first 100 days, the government has been able to save Ghana $300 million due to contracts signed with the power producers. The cedi has stabilized. Of course, it's been stabilized gradually.
Okay.
Now it is 4 cedis, 12 pesos for selling. Buying is 4 cedis, 32 pesos. As of 3 days ago.
Okay.
As of last week, it even came to 3 cedis.
The recent statistics
Yes.
from the Ghana Statistical Service.
From the Ghana Stock Exchange shows that the cedi has been appreciating.
Okay.
And of course, and this is true, you left a cedi to dollar of 4.75 pesos.
Now, that brings me to the question. Why is it that if we are experiencing something bad, we still inherited from the previous government? But now that we are experiencing something good, we are limiting it to the correct measures put in place by this government.
All right. That is not so. In the year 1991-92, unemployment was 4.7%. In 1998-1999, it increased to 8.2. In 2006, to 10.4. That's in 2000, sorry. In 2000, unemployment was 10.4 when NPP came to power. In 2006, it was decreased to 5.8%.
Okay.
It is not a matter of what you inherit. Look, I can tell you that NPP government or NPP party is a party that, though believes in capitalism, also practices or introduces social interventions programs.
Exactly.
And you can bear witness with me that the free health insurance scheme that was introduced, it was by the NPP government.
So when you take a historical antecedent of all these occurrences, you think we are on course?
We are on course.
We shouldn't blame everything on the previous government.
No, well, the previous government didn't do much.
Okay.
Because you are leaving a domestic plus international debt of 122 billion Ghana cedis.
That is outrageous.
It's outrageous. Before you came, it was less than 40 billion. Have you seen it? Before you came, within the past 8 years, you've accumulated a debt over 60 billion Ghana cedis. So this is outrageous. Look, the free NHS, the free SHS, it's on course. Government has released close to $500 million. Okay, for the program, and it's starting from the first year. And if you listen to the
I wanted us to come to the budget later, so let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
Now, in economics, we have a principle we know as the principle of positive inertia, that if economic agents normally base their expectations by taking a retrospective look of the performance of the government in the previous year. Now, you can attest to the fact that as at December 2016, inflation rate was 15.4%.
Yes.
And so per this principle, we are supposed to experience an inflation rate of even maybe 16 or higher.
But
here's the case where this president, Nana Akufo Addo, and his outfit is poised to reduce inflation rate to 12.3%. Do you think this is just a mere political talk?
No.
Or we can actually achieve this particular target?
This is not a mere political talk. From the Ghana Statistical Service, their reports indicate that inflation is now 12.8% from 15.4%. And so that positive inertia, I will tell you that the NPP government has violated it.
Exactly.
Because, yes, because we, during our campaign, promised that we will reduce inflation drastically.
Is it premature for us to say that it has been violated because we've not gotten to the end of
it? It will be reversed, such that it will be positive when we look at the inflation rate, how it is declining. The increment is declining.
Okay.
And so we can also postulate that in the next period there will be a further decline.
Okay.
And this is positive.
Okay. All right. I get your point very well. Now, the performance of an economy depends on a multitude of factors. We have,
of course,
the political aspect, we have the economic aspect, and perhaps we have the social aspect. Now, when you make reference to the Ghana Shared Growth and Development Agenda, Ghana's political credibility has been put on the highest pedestal. When you look at our economic indicators, we are on course. But with respect to the social aspect, I think that is where the problem is.
Well,
do you think Nana Akufo Addo and his government is poised to end the suffering of the Ghanaians?
You see,
because the majority of Ghanaians are below the poverty index.
The continent of Africa and the world know that NPP is the only party in Ghana's democracy that has introduced more social intervention programs.
Exactly.
You can talk of the Ghana Poverty Reduction Strategy 1, you can talk of the Growth and Poverty Reduction Strategy 2.
Okay.
And of course, you can see now that various taxes have been reduced. You talk of the National Electrification Levy from 5 to 3%, talk of the Public Lighting Levy from 5 to 2%, talk of the 1% tax on spare part has been reduced, the 17.5% financial tax has been replaced across board with 3%. So, and as economists will tell you that when taxes are reduced, it boosts consumption. And when consumption increases, it shows that the wealth of the people
That's a contractionary fiscal policy, right?
Well, That is expansionary.
Rather.
Yes.
Okay.
Even though government has abolished some taxes, you could see that the major target of the budget is production rather than taxation.
To stimulate
yes,
production.
To stimulate, and we have to create the atmosphere for private enterprises and generally the economy to increase the cost of living, create jobs.
Okay.
We are on course. You see, we are on course. All that we need to do is to pray for the president.
All right.
You understand? There is not a time for us to engage in propaganda as the opponents or the opposition NDC is doing. If within the first 100 days you are organizing a press conference, then within the first year, by the time the government has clocked 1 year, you have to go to the UN headquarters to organize your press conference there. It is needless. Okay. It is totally needless. It is not necessary at all.
All right. Thank you very much, Wisdom. All right, viewers, this is where time permits us to, bring the program to an end. We are very much grateful for joining us. Thank you very much.